Welcome yogis. This tutorial flow is for forearm wheel. We will get a little bendy and work our way into the entry of this posture, but not before, of course, doing a little bit of warm up. So today all you should need is your mat. Whenever you're ready, let's get right to it. We will begin in a hero's pose. If you do have blocks available or a pillow or something you want to put under your seat to support yourself, feel free to bring that in. If you don't have a support and hero's pose isn't working for you today, cross-leg position is fine as well. So once you get yourself situated, let's just close the eyes for a moment. Take a few deep breaths to set your space. Zone in your attention. Just using the first few moments here to center, to connect to your breath. And as you bring your attention to the length and strength of inhale and exhale, you'll notice maybe the automatic depth that you add to your breath. And just making sure it's even. Extend your spine a little bit taller. Notice as you do that the ease and the lessening of compression you create in your low back. When you're ready, we'll blink the eyes open. And we'll start by just taking the arms out wide. Let's begin with thumbs pointing up, pinky fingers towards the floor. And then all we're going to do is rotate the arms. So we'll start by turning the palms to face the back of your room. And then again, turning the hands, palms face up. Keep going back and forth here. And I just want you to feel what's going on in the shoulder joint and the areas surrounding. So as you hit end range, if you were to challenge yourself to go a little bit beyond, as the palms turn up, you'll notice as you keep moving the arms, we have this natural lift of the heart. We can back through neutral, turn the palms, and in the opposite way, that sort of internal rotation creates this natural rounding of the spine. So you can work in just that slight area past end range. If the shoulders are getting a little fatigued, it's all good. Couple more of these. All right, now palms will face forward. Let's bend the elbows and find a field goal arm. So in the same respect of rotating in the upper arm bones, we're going to flip the field goal arm. Palms push back, and then again rotate upwards. So go back and forth here. There may be some limitation as the fingers point down. That's okay. Again, just notice. Be aware if one shoulder happens to be interacting or working with this movement a little differently than the other. And then once again, explore just slightly past end range. So that same idea, as the palms point down, the hands press backwards, it's this natural rounding. And as the palms aim up and we open through the hands, open through the heart, we get this lift. Couple more of these. Respect the work, right? Even in this simple movement, we start to feel that fatigue coming in. Take one more. All right, come back to neutral field goal arm. This time the palms will come in, forearms come in, press the hands, press the elbows together. Inhale, open up. Exhale, bring them in and press. Inhale to open. Now as you do these, I want you to be mindful. As you press together, let's try not to hunch in the upper trap area, but instead engage the low and mid trap and the serratus, which is going to help keep the shoulder blade on the back. And so we're drawing everything down with that squeeze. Inhale to open and exhale to press. Give me one more. Inhale, open. And exhale, press. All right, last thing here. Come back to the field goal arm. This should feel good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull down. Feel free to open the heart a little bit. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Last one. Inhale, reach. And exhale, pull. Let the elbows come down towards the floor, palms down towards the floor, and make your way to a tabletop. Grip your fingers into the mat and start with some cat-cows. Inhale to drop the belly, scoot the heart forward, and exhale to push round the back. Go in and out of these postures, but be mindful of where the eye of your elbow is aiming. For our purposes today, I want you to try to spin the eye of your elbow so it aims forward, the elbow and tricep point backwards. If we're being technical, typically we want about a 45-degree angle with the eye of the elbow, so it's more aiming sort of halfway between. But again, for our purposes today, let's really try to exaggerate that spin a little bit. You may notice a little tug in one area or another in this cat-cow, but continue to wrap the arms back. Now with that same idea in mind, let's come back to a neutral tabletop. Wrap your triceps toward the back of your mat, tuck your toes, and now move to down dog, but real slow. As you extend your hips back, you'll notice if the arm bones want to spiral. If they end up spiraling a lot, right, you might be better off staying a little bit farther forward in your down dog. Right? It might feel a little bit strange, kind of heading towards plank pose, but this will be a better work in the arms. Right? You start to feel a little tug here, which is actually your lat muscle, right? We think of the lat as the back, but in fact, it does connect to your arm bone. So we'll wrap, we'll press, and look for some length in our dog. On a breath in, rise to your tiptoes. Tuck your tailbone as you roll forward like a cat back all the way to plank. Now to press back to dog, I want you to bend your knees. I want you to bend your elbows and push back to down dog. We'll take that again. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Bend your knees, bend your elbows, push back to dog. One more like that. Roll forward to plank. Bend knees, bend elbows, and extend it back to dog. Now this time we'll roll forward to plank. Keep your chin to your chest. Lower your hips like up dog with tucked toes. Then lift your gaze. Soften the elbows to bring the thigh bones down. Hug your elbows back and lower all the way down to your chest. Point your toes now. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. And it's an inhale. Peel up cobra. Exhale. Lower down. Press back. Child's pose. Couple rounds of breath. Bring yourself back up through tabletop. Tuck your toes. It's downward facing dog. One more roll forward. So again, you'll try to keep your chin connected towards your chest. Round your way to plank. Keep the chin to chest. Lower your hips. Then unfurl. Upward facing dog. Bend your elbows to lower the thighs down. Lower your chest all the way down. Now this time we'll take the left arm straight out to the side. Palm face the floor. Right hand on your shoulder, and you'll roll to the left side. Now you're welcome to stay here. If you have a little more room to go, you'll bend your right knee and step your right foot behind you. Take some time to breathe, allowing your chest, your shoulder to start to open up. Take it back through center. And we'll switch sides. Right arm to the side, left hand under shoulder, press and roll to the right. Either staying with the legs stacked or perhaps stepping your left foot behind you. Deep breaths. Roll back to your belly. We'll take one more with a little less of a hold. Left arm by the side, roll, tap your right foot behind you. And then again through center, right arm extends, roll, the left foot taps behind you. Come back through center, hands under shoulders, press back through a brief child's pose, and right away it's back to down dog. On a breath in, fly the right leg up and back behind you. Bend your knee and open your hip. Be careful here that your left leg is still looking like down dog. You don't want to let things spiral too far out of whack. See how much you can stack one hip on top of the other, but respect the left leg. Now from here, draw your right knee to your nose. Step your foot between your hand and drop the back knee for low lunge. Inhale, the arms come up. Spread your toes and get grounded. Now the first thing we check in with is the pelvis. Navel draws in to try to create a little more space in the back body. And then if we can reach upwards even more, feel how that lightens up the compression in the low back. Tuck your back toes under, squeeze your inner thighs together, and rise to crescent lunge. And then we'll tap the left knee to the mat. Come right back up, crescent lunge. Tap the knee, crescent lunge. One more time, tap, and rise. Hands will float down to your heart. Step your left foot forward to a chair pose. Spread your toes and sink low. Let's have the feet together for this one. Squeeze your thighs and knees into one another. You'll take a full breath in. Exhale, twist to your right. If you're able to hook the elbow outside the knee, then do so. If that's too much too soon, your option is either to hover or even to tuck it onto the left knee. Check in with your twist by drawing your navel in, leaving a little space between your belly and your thighs. Big, expansive breaths. Take a peek down at the floor. Shift your weight into your right foot. Let's lift the left heel off the mat. See if you can lift your left foot, and then we'll step the left leg way back to a runner's lunge. Recommit to your twist if you've lost it. Legs stay engaged, left heel back, right knee forward. Last breath. Take your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back to downward facing dog. Now we check in again with the wrap of the arms. Triceps spin towards the back edge of your mat. And then we can see how successful we are in that by trying to bend the elbows, and let's come down to dolphin in one movement. All right, now from dolphin, can we shift to chaturanga? You're going to keep your palms grounded. Your elbows will lift as you shift forward. Chaturanga, press to plank, and back to downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths. On an inhale, send your left leg up to the sky, three-leg dog. Bend your left knee, open your hip, but maintain the right leg like down dog. So that means the toes are still pointing forward, the kneecap is spiraling towards your pinky toe, but all the while, left heel squeezes to glute, left hip rolls open. Take your left knee to your chest, step your foot between your hands, and lower your back knee. Reach your arms overhead and settle in. We're mindful to not spill too much forward, right? If we're too focused on just the arc in the spine, we end up losing front body. So we're looking for some containment. Navel in. Length. And it's from the length we get a little bit more arc. Tuck your back toes under. Energize your legs by pushing them down into the floor. Squeeze your inner thighs and lift to crescent lunge. And then we'll tap the knee down, lift it up. Tap and lift. Last one, and lift. Bring your hands to your heart. Step forward, chair pose. Squeeze your legs together. It's a full breath in. Exhale, twist to your left. Hook your elbow if you're able to. Take some full rounds of breath. And we can think a little bit of up dog here. The essence of pulling your heart forward. Stay low, squeeze your legs together. And then we'll look down at the floor. Lift your right heel off the ground. Lift your right foot off the floor. And extend the leg back, landing in a runner's twist. Ensure that each foot is on its own lane. Left outer hip will roll back to keep the hips nice and square. And then it's 3 good breaths here. Take your hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Now one more time, let's bend the elbows, lower them down to dolphin. Keep your palms planted, shift forward, the elbows will lift, chaturanga, push, plank pose, and back, downward facing dog. Rise to your tiptoes, roll the spine forward to plank. Bend your knees, bend your elbows, and send it back to dog. 2 more. Roll forward and send it back. Last one. Roll forward and send it back. Right leg high, 3-leg dog. Take your knee to your left elbow, cross it under, kick the leg through for fallen triangle legs, but keep your hands down. Now you can either hold this to work the twist, or we'll bend the elbows to a push-up. Press back up. Take your right knee to your chest, extend the leg up and back, bend your knee, open hip, and then we'll work towards our flip dog. Reach your right toes behind you, the right hand will lift. Extend the hips up, reach your right arm overhead. We'll see if we can take this to our lunge through a side plank. Turn your gaze towards the floor, but keep reaching your right arm overhead. Stay grounded in your left foot, and you're going to pluck your right foot off the floor, bring your knee towards the sky. Keep reaching forward as the foot reaches forward, 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 forward to lunge. Bring your back knee down. Heel toe your right foot wide, and you'll come to a lizard lunge. Now right away here, left hand will come a little bit wider on the mat. The right hand will come to your thigh, and you start to twist to the right. As you're ready, we'll bend the left knee. The right hand will reach back for your foot, and you'll pull your heel in towards your glute. Now the goal here, of course, is the quad stretch. It's easy to kind of lose focus here, right? Some things like handstand or forearm balance, they require our immediate attention. This pose, it's easy to kind of get lazy and forget what we're doing. So I'll ask that you really focus on keep that sensation strong in the left quad. Stay connected to it, breathe into it. We won't be here for too much longer. Slowly release your left foot. Take your hands back to square on the mat, and we'll just step back to down dog. Settle into your breath. Extend your hips up and back and find neutral, long spine. Let's take a few more of those spinal rolls. Rise to tiptoes, roll forward, bend the knees, bend the elbows, arc it back. Again, cat back as you roll forward, cow back as you arc to dog. One more time, roll forward and arc back. Take the left leg high, 3-leg dog. Knee to right elbow. Kick the leg across for fallen triangle legs. Then again, you can either hold here or it's one push-up. Bend the elbows, press. Left knee to chest. Send the leg up and back, bend the knee, open hip, and move towards flip dog. You'll notice my right foot is spiraling, the left toes ground, the left arm reaches, and we breathe. Note that your right foot is anchored. Continue reaching with your left arm, and we're going to pluck the left foot off the floor. Gaze at the ground will help you. Left knee comes towards the sky, and then we'll slowly reach it forward towards a lunge. Extend, 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 and land. Lower your back knee. Heel toe your left foot wide to a lizard lunge. And then again, the right hand will come a little bit wider on the mat. Left hand will come to your left thigh bone, and we'll begin our twist to the left. When you're ready to add on, let's bend the right knee. Reach your left hand back for your foot for the quad stretch. Look for that place where the sensation is rather strong, but of course no pain. If the knee is giving you any sharp sensations or feedback, you might ease out a little bit. We always want to take care of the knees. Few more breaths. Let your right foot go. Take your hands back to frame back square on the mat. Step it back, downward facing dog. Again, a few breaths to just get it more even. And then as you're ready, the knees will drop wide as the mat, toes together. Come down to a child's pose. From child's pose, start to walk yourself back up to a seat. We'll spin our legs out in front of us and make our way down onto our backs for the main event. So we'll start slow, coming in towards a wheel type shape first. You can grab behind the thighs to make this transition nice and smooth. Once you get down here, you'll prepare for your wheel by getting your heels as close to your sits bones as is comfortable. Take your hands by your ears, fingers pointing towards the shoulders, and the elbows wrap in. All right, now even if you think you know where we're going, let's go step by step. Start first by lifting your hips just a couple inches. Pull your heels towards your shoulders to feel that your hamstrings are engaged. You'll notice that's a significant shift of the knees forward. Sink your sternum down and then press your feet more to lift your hips a little higher. All right, now root through your hands. We're going to lift the upper back off the ground and just get the top of the head to the floor. Lift and get the top of the head down. Wrap your elbows in. Now this first round, you're going to straighten the arms, come up towards wheel, and then tap the head to the ground. Again, straighten, tap the head. For 3, tap the head. 2, tap the head. Last one, this time chin to chest. Bend the elbows and roll your spine to the ground. Release your hands. You can take them on frontal hip bones. Feel free to close your eyes. Just notice the effects of the back bend. All right, now as we come into our forearm wheel, feel free to observe first. I will cue 2 rounds. You could always watch the first one and do the second one together. There are 2 different head placements or 2 different gazes during this posture that we can work with. So I will show and explain both. We'll start by getting into the pose the same way we just got into the previous. Hands will set up by the shoulders, fingers pointing in the direction of the shoulders. We'll lift the hips just a couple inches, pull the heels towards the shoulders, hamstrings engage, sink the sternum down, and then press through the feet to lift the hips higher. Start by pushing through the hands, get the top of your head on the mat. Now from here, weave your forearms down onto the floor. Push through your elbows and get your head off the ground. So you'll notice here my gaze is away from my feet, right? It's kind of straight forward. So I'm just letting my head dangle. If I care to, I could always step the feet in a little closer and work a little bit more arc, the opening in the shoulders, and pressing my heart towards the back of the mat. The other way that I can do this is trying to look towards the thumbs, right? Different type of shape, a little bit more curvature in the upper back and neck area. And we're ready to come down. It's chin to chest. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm lying. Put the top of your head on the floor. Hands come back to the mat. Lift up, chin to chest. Roll your spine back down to the earth. Take your hands to frontal hip bones. Some easy breaths with eyes closed. Now you may notice when you go into it, the arms might not stay totally parallel, and that's completely fine. If the hands slide in a little bit, no problem. We just want to try to keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. So as you probably noticed on that first round, I made little adjustments, right? That's okay to do. Just be mindful of what you're doing. All right, let's try it again. Heels come towards sits bones. The hands set up by the ears. Start by lifting your hips a couple inches. Pull the heels towards the shoulders. Sink sternum and lift the hips a little higher. Push through your hands. Get the top of your head on the floor. And then weave your forearms down onto the ground. Crawl your fingers towards your heels. And when you're ready, lift your head off the mat. Play with pushing yourself towards the back of the mat. Heart pushing through this big opening in the shoulders. And if you want to play with the other way, looking towards the thumbs, you're free to do that. Stay as long as you like. Just make sure that you're able to breathe. You can try getting deeper by lifting your heels off the mat, maybe walking the toes in a little closer. Ensure that there isn't any strong sensation in any one part of the spine. If you're feeling that, give yourself a little more room. Now to come down, the top of the head will come to the floor once again. Take your hands to the ground. Push up to lift the head, chin to chest, and roll your spine back down to the earth. Take your hands back to frontal hip bones. Close your eyes. Acknowledge the shift in energy. Maybe your heart is beating a little faster, your breath moving at a quicker pace. And just start to breathe with a little more intention. Work your way back to equilibrium. We'll heel toe the feet out as wide as the mat and just let the knees drape in towards one another. Let your arms come overhead, just lightly crossing the wrists or leaving the arms free, whatever feels better. And we'll start to drape the legs left and right, windshield wiping side to side and feeling how that's helping to loosen the muscles in the back. When you're satisfied, both knees will come into your chest. Feel free to give them a little squeeze. And we'll drape the knees over to the right, shifting the hips to the left a little bit for a stack knee twist. The left arm will reach wide, and you'll simply breathe here. Come up through center. Swap your knees over to the other side. Little shift of the hips to the right, which is just going to make it easier to stack one hip on the other. Right arm wide, and the left hand grounding your knees. Bring yourself back to center. And then you can either take a few more twists, single knee twist perhaps, or even staying on your back with your feet together, the knees draped out wide in your Supta Baddha Konasana, and end there. As always, I recommend that you end with some mindfulness, whether that be in your Supta Baddha for a short Shavasana, or even eventually coming upright for a short seated meditation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.